Much love to you. I hope that you enjoy Patla Namaha. PLO's day is coming. PLO is a great game. It is greater than Ullman Hold'em. So peace out, everybody. Much love. Check Grace Charles. Love the video blog. Shout out to you.
Dream catcher, hanging on a dream. The moment I feel I'm slipping away. I'm a dream catcher, hanging on a dream. The moment I feel I'm slipping away. I'm catching as they're slipping away.
You ready? I believed you when you said I was nothing. Took my hopes and just crushed it, cause I believed that I deserved to have my prayers and answered. Too many times I went to pray and was like, man, forget it. I swear I must be made of steel and all them demons magnets, cause it don't matter where I go, I swear they stay attracted. I left my heart engulfed in flames so they can chase the ashes, but you can't change the factors that makes you who your ass is. Your dad might be a bastard, but I bet your mom ain't. Check this, you can chase for past. Grab a pen, grab a pen, I'ma answer anything that you need to ask. Be the receiver, I'ma give the pass. Hate in your face and kiss your ass. Matter of fact, take a photograph, it lasts longer. Don't drop the ball, last chance to catch my soul with your bare hands. Hopelessly hoping for something. Blow that hocus pocus up in the smoke and believe in something tangible. You, and no matter how many times they doubt you, your dreams will always come true. Cause I'm a
dream catcher, hanging on a dream. The moment I feel I'm slipping away.
Cause I'm a
dream catcher, hanging on a dream. The moment I feel I'm slipping away.
Yeah. Wow.
I'll save you from those scary thoughts. Leave you with the good of love.
Yeah. I swear I had a boy band life, cause every boy in that band represented somebody I never liked. Me, 50 Shades of Grey, no Christian, and I wouldn't ask forgiveness cause I know he wasn't listening. So now I'm on my mission, so solo, YOLO, y'all with me. So long to all my enemies cause you'll no longer see me. I don't know where I am going, that must mean I found my destiny. And y'all can come along, but don't slow me down with sympathy. The worst of me was lost, so the best of me is left. I know I have a purpose, I just haven't found it yet. I just haven't found the courage, but I think I'm on its scent. So watch me close my eyes and know I will never miss it. Hopelessly hoping for something. Blow the hocus pocus up in the smoke and believe in something tangible. You, and no matter how many times they doubt you, your dreams will always come true. Cause I'm a dream catcher.
What up, YouTube? Check Raise Charles here. Just taking Mama Michna out to Land's End / Sutro Baths. Just got back from Las Vegas, I think yesterday or maybe the day before. Planning on trying to get in a session of PLO later tonight once I'm able to have my mom go and get Charlie. So in this episode, we're pretty much just going to detail what went down this last weekend. Went to Vegas. I went with my wife on Saturday, and we went for a wedding on Sunday. So Saturday night, we actually got dinner at Mastro's Ocean Club. It's delicious. We actually had received a wedding gift 3 years ago from a good friend of mine for a gift card for dinner there, and just never had a chance to ever take advantage of it. So we finally did 3 years later, kind of celebrating our 3-year anniversary. And then Sunday was the wedding. No, best out of three. One, two, three, shoot. I don't know. Rock. Definitely rock. Definitely rock. Rock's coming your way.
Alright, I'm throwing shit.
No, I don't want to hear that. Damn it. Now I don't know what to do. Alright. One, two, three, shoot, right? Best out of three. One, two, three, shoot. One, two, three, shoot. One, two, three, shoot. One, two, three, shoot.
Oh, you know. Let's come from behind victory.
Jeffrey. How's it feel to be a married man?
Fantastic.
Bradley, what's it like
That
partying?
is my hat.
Oh, it's so great. We're just
Keep
living
that
the
away
dream.
from me. You are officially
Here with
the owner. I pass.
Kitty Cat
That thing
Carrots.
is a piece of
Yeah.
junk.
And then my wife left Monday morning, and I got to stay a couple of extra days, which mostly was just hanging out. Put in a session on Monday, a short little session. We'll lead to some of the hands, so you'll see that. And then just kind of hung out with buddies. Went to lunch with a couple of friends, and then a dinner as well. So yeah, we'll get into that now. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and the scenery here at Land's End, which is absolutely gorgeous. Here in Las Vegas, my final day. It's Tuesday. Just kind of wrapping up. I had a wedding on Sunday, which was a great time. Got a chance to catch up with some buddies, which is always wonderful, especially when I don't get to make it out to Las Vegas as much anymore now that Charlie is around. So it was nice. Got a couple of days away. Going to be heading back to San Francisco tonight. Possibly getting in a session before I leave. I played yesterday in some 5-10 no limit at Bellagio. Pretty short actually, maybe like an hour and a half until the game kind of just got crappy and I had to go meet up with a friend for dinner. So I just figured it'd be better to pick up. Only hands of note, you pick up ace-10 of diamonds in early position. Might be like another gun +1. I open a 40, get a caller in the cutoff. And then the big blind calls as well. The big blind's playing like a 400 stack. It looks like a recreational player, just kind of based on looks and obviously how much he's playing. The flop comes 2-3-5 with 2 diamonds. I have ace-10 of diamonds, so we flopped the nut flush draw, 2 overs and a gutter to the second straight, or actually third straight, I guess, if 4 comes off. And now the big blind leads 450 into the $120 pot. Kind of a strange line for someone to donk into you. I think I'm going to kind of take this as a check. I don't expect him to be leading here very strong. And obviously my hand has a lot of equity. There's some thought about flatting here to allow the player behind me in because he's the one that has more money. But I don't really want to flat and let some like bad card come off, like, you know, the 6, or just some board pairing card that's going to be kind of bad to play on continually against the guy that's led. So I decided to just raise myself to 140, figuring, you know, if the guy behind me has a playable hand, then he's likely to continue on his own if he flops an overpair. Obviously, if I just call, the player behind is much more likely to possibly mix it up, but I kind of feel like he's just going to continue with his stronger hands anyway. So I make it 140. The player behind folds pretty quickly, so it looks like he didn't have much of a decision anyway. And now the big blind thinks for a bit and calls. The turn is the 6 of hearts. And he thinks for a bit and checks. And once he thinks for a bit, I think there's just no real way he's going to do this with a 4. I think players who are going to have a pretty strong hand here are going to check rather quickly when a good card comes off for them. Especially recreational players, they just kind of like hit a big card, and if they are going to check, they're going to check quickly. So when he thinks for a bit, it just feels like he doesn't have a big hand here. He's playing what it looks like about $200. And I feel like my only real play here is a jam. Obviously I still have equity, and if he does have some, you know, hand like ace-5 or whatever, maybe he's gonna find a fold, or like, you know, ace-3, a pair and a gutter, something like that. So I bet 230, thing that puts him all in, and he kind of snap calls and ends up actually having a little bit more money. He has about like 20 bucks. So I'm like, okay, this is a bit strange. The river's a jack of diamonds, so I make the nuts. He checks, so I put him all in for like his 30 bucks, and as he's calling, he pretty much says, I missed as he's calling, which I'm like, that's kind of weird. So he says he missed, he's calling. I turn my hand over really quickly and show him that I made the nuts, and he himself turns over ace 10. Kind of strange spot. He said to me, he's like, oh yeah, we're 50-50 on the turn. I'm like, yeah. So I'm actually not 100% sure if he had ace 10 of hearts and picked up the hearts on the turn, because the flop was 2 diamonds and a heart. So it's possible he turned the nut flush draw with the heart. Although I would expect him to just jam that himself. So I'm not 100% sure if he had ace 10 of hearts or if it was just ace 10, but I do remember it was ace 10, and I remember thinking he just had ace high. But it ends up, now that I realize, I think he might have turned a flush draw. I'm not sure. So we win that hand, and then I have another hand where I open ace queen. I get the big blind to call. The flop comes queen 7-3 rainbow. He checks. I under bet the flop. I end up betting 30 into, I think, 75. He calls. The turn is like a brick. It's a deuce. He checks, and I decide to check behind, kind of figuring that this is a spot where I'm going to be able to underwrite my hand. Maybe he can value bet his hand on the river, and I want to make it look like, you know, I don't have much of anything here. So I check back, just kind of thinking that, you know, it's a dry board. I think I, you know, probably should be possibly going for 3 streets of value. That could be a mistake, but I think at the same time, if I bet again, you know, it's quite likely that he could fold. So I check back. The river again is a 10, and he checks again. Now I decide to go for value. Given that I've checked back the turn, I want to make it look like I might have ace high. So I bet 110, and he goes in the tank, ends up finding a fold, unfortunately for me. I'm not sure what he had. Maybe he had something like eights, you know, calling on the flop with an underpair to the queen, and then just on the river thinks I'm not bluffing. So win that hand, and then I pick up ace queen again, folds to me the small blind. I ask the woman in the big blind if she chops. She says she always plays. I'm like, okay, great. I make it 40. She calls. Flop comes ace 6-6 with 2 hearts. I check. She checks. Turns to 3 hearts, and there's now 3 hearts. I don't have a heart. I bet, and she kind of snap mucks. And those are pretty much like the 3 interesting hands that I ended up playing. Nothing else really happened. So I ended up winning like 550 in the session, which is, you know, nice. Gonna try to put in another one today. One thing, you know, I've realized as a vlogger, you know, there's a couple of other vloggers, and in speaking to some of them, I found out that a lot of them don't necessarily watch poker vlogs or don't watch poker, you know, poker shows, poker commentary. And what it made me realize is that personally, you know, not only am I a player, I'm a consumer of all things poker. I really love playing. I really love watching. I love learning. And you know, I'm kind of curious as viewers, you know, what are your favorite things? What shows do you enjoy watching? What are your favorite kind of channels on YouTube? What do you enjoy seeing? And you know, what are your interests regarding poker? What are you looking to learn? You know, I'm trying to kind of improve this channel. I'd like to know what people are interested in and how I can make it better. I'm trying to streamline the process by making kind of quicker videos, because originally, you know, I was making more complex things with a drone, you know, music, B-roll, and that editing process was just so lengthy that, you know, it was a little too hard to get things out quickly. So the plan at this point is to try to make, you know, quicker videos, more commentary. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think of this kind of new format. I'm interested to hear, or if you prefer more of the, you know, life stuff, you know, going out to places in San Francisco to eat, or when I travel and things like that. So I'm, you know, really curious to hear about that. And otherwise, that's kind of it. Back to San Francisco tonight and back to the grind. My mother's here for another week, so that's nice. So I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to get in a couple more sessions. I did play PLO right before I left on Thursday, and was able to book like a $2,100 win, which is nice. Had a couple of interesting spots in that. The one most interesting hand that I think kind of defined my session, I end up getting ace-ace-jack with the ace-jack of spades. I open a 40 after a limper. I get my buddy to my immediate left to call. There's another flatter, and then now one of the more action players in the game. He's a recreational player, loves to gamble, loves to play, long sessions, mixes it up, can be pretty difficult. He 3-bets the button to 160. It folds to me. I think this hand is too big to fold against this particular opponent. He has been 3-betting his button fairly often, so I think this is a spot where I can't just find a fold. So I call. I'm slightly worried that now my friend behind me might end up finding, a 3-bet with like the top of his range, but he ends up folding, and the other player in between folds as well. So we go heads up to a flop, which comes 8-8-6 with 2 spades. And so I flop, the overpair with the jacks and the nut flush draw. I check, and now he bets 220. Obviously, I'm not going away here with, the overpair and the nut flush draw. I flat. Turn is a 10, so the straight gets there. I check, and he checks behinds. I'm pretty confident I now have the best hand, but obviously he could be pot controlling with aces or kings. So I'm hoping to get there. And now the river's an ace, which, isn't a great card. I do have the blocker to aces full, but, there's a decent percentage of time that people's 3-betting range in this spot is going to be aces. You could also obviously have something like ace, king, jack 10, or ace, king, queen 10, ace, king, queen, queen. So my ace, jack doesn't play that well against, his 3-betting range. I think a lot of times here he's either going to have like a big ace is full, or he's going to just have like some rundown airball. So I check, and he kind of snap bets 440. There's a couple of things here that gave it away for me, that why I believed it was a bluff. I don't really want to go over that in case he ends up finding this channel, and I don't really want to be giving away that information if I do end up playing with him, because he plays a lot of PLO, and I think this is pretty pertinent information I'm just not going to give away. And it's opponent specific. So I call fairly confidently the 440. Obviously it's a spot I'm a little bit worried, but at the same time, I'm not going to fold here because I believe that he is continuing with the bluff. So I call, and he kind of snap shows his hand, which he often does, and I'm not 100% sure exactly what it was, but I think it was like 10-9-5 deuce, something like that, maybe one suit. The turn might have not been a 10 because I don't even think he had a pair. I'm fairly certain that he had no pair. He just had 10 high. So he's obviously, I flopped a gut shot. He c-bet that and then checked back the turn and then decided to obviously bluff the river because the ace hits his range much better than it does mine, especially once I check call flop and check turn. So we win that pot, which was fairly nice. That pot was, let's think about this, 440, 900, 9... plus the 220 for 1300 plus the 3-bet, like a $1,600 pot, maybe a little bit more than that. So that was nice. Had a couple of other spots, pretty standard, that I'd won, but that was probably the biggest and most interesting spot of the hands that I played. That was nice to finally get back to the PLO streets and book a win. Also last night I had a chance to meet up with MJ Poker, MJ on Instagram, and Avoid the 9-5, Matt, two of the guys that are running the Live at the Bike stream. They're currently in Vegas doing some of their coaching. Check them out. Two really awesome guys. Courtney was there as well, Liberal Chick, and Ramsey, who also make appearances on Live at the Bike. I really love watching that show. I'm excited today with the Vloggers game. It starts, actually I think it's all week, so that'll be a lot of fun watching on Live at the Bike. I'm going to be rooting on my good friend Brad Owen, who's going to be in the game, as well as Andrew Nemi. So yeah, that was really fun. We played some darts. First time I've ever played darts before, or actually not the first time, I've played before, but pretty much like the first time I've put in like a couple of hours of playing darts. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think that darts could be so much fun, but if you've never tried it, we played some cricket. It was awesome. And then Todd Brunson actually ended up showing up with Frank Casella, so we ended up playing, it was Matt and I against Frank Casella and MJ. Casella is a beast at darts. Don't let him play you in darts. MJ is also great. Thankfully, we were able to actually win one of our matches, but the other two that we lost, they pretty much single-handedly whooped our ass. But I enjoyed that a lot, so shout out to all those guys. I had a lot of fun meeting them. Hopefully, I'll have a chance to kind of hang out with them again or make my way to Live at the Bike at some point. But again, please let me know what your thoughts are, on like poker shows, what you like seeing. I love to hear about that because, like I said, these are my interests as well. Like, I really enjoy watching poker. I love different shows. I watch a lot of the Poker After Dark stuff that's being shown on the Poker Night in America, as well as just a number of YouTube channels. So let me know which channels you enjoy the most. I'd love to hear from you guys, and also what you'd like to see more of on this channel. All right, thanks guys. Catch you later. Peace.